Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're breaking down what has to be one of the most intense, rapidly escalating narratives in ancient biblical texts. We're looking at Numbers 25, idolatry, a deadly plague, and a covenant of peace. It's quite the story.
So, let's start with part 1, the sin at Shittim. This is really the inciting incident for the whole shebang.
The narrative opens at a place called Shittim. The Israelites are camped out there, but things quickly go completely off the rails. They start intermingling with the daughters of Moab, accepting invitations to eat their sacrifices, and basically bowing down to foreign gods. They are completely blurring these strict religious boundaries that were supposedly set in stone.
And this brings us to Baal Peor. He's this specific local deity, and his illicit worship is the literal catalyst for the entire catastrophe that follows. By joining themselves to Baal Peor, the Israelites crossed a monumental line. I mean, they didn't just cross it, they trampled it.
Which leads us to part 2, a deadly plague. We're talking about an incredibly swift escalation of divine wrath here.
What's fascinating about this text is the sheer speed of the timeline. It's like a rapid chain reaction. Hour 1, the people are worshiping Baal Peor and eating sacrifices. Hour 2, divine anger is fiercely kindled. Boom. And by hour 3, Moses issues an absolutely terrifying command to the judges: slay the offenders and hang their heads up in broad daylight. The goal here is to literally turn away this massive wave of wrath.
Moving right along to part 3, Phinehas takes action. This is the striking climax right at the door of the tabernacle.
So, picture this. Right at the absolute height of the tension, while the Israelite congregation is actually weeping at the door of the tabernacle, this stark contrast emerges out of nowhere. An Israelite prince named Zimri blatantly parades a Midianite princess, Cosbi, right in front of everyone. Zero shame. This brazen act instantly catches the eye of Phinehas, who happens to be the grandson of Aaron the priest. Propelled by pure zeal, Phinehas just rises out right out of the weeping crowd. He grabs a javelin, stalks the couple directly into their tent, and violently thrusts the weapon right through both of their bellies. It's a shocking, brutal act, but actually, according to the text, it instantly halts the deadly plague that was ravaging the camp.
But you know the cost of this divine retribution? It was already absolutely staggering. 24,000 Israelites. Let that sink in. 24,000 people died in the plague before Phinehas even intervened.
And that brings us to part 4, the aftermath and the covenant. This is where we see the establishment of the everlasting priesthood.
You might be wondering, how does the ancient text resolve this extreme religious violence? Well, God not only turns his wrath away from Israel, but he explicitly rewards Phinehas' zealotry. He grants him a covenant of peace and an everlasting priesthood that's completely guaranteed to his bloodline. And why? Because he was zealous for his God. He stepped up and forcefully reestablished the community's boundaries when they were falling apart.
Furthermore, this violent event immediately sets the geopolitical stage for coming conflicts. The narrative wraps up with a direct divine command: vex the Midianites and smite them. It's a call for total retaliation against the Midianites for their deception, involving Peor and Cosbi.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, we are definitely left to ponder a rather intense overarching question. How do ancient historical narratives leverage these tales of intense, violent zealotry to establish the strict boundaries of early religious covenants? It really is a compelling look at how foundational texts codified devotion and identity. Thanks for hanging out and exploring this with me.